A dozen true men made it back. Ed, Giant, your friends, the Aurochs, which, like, come on, Aemon. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Brotherhood Without Manners, your favorite full spoiler reread podcast of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series, reading a story with swords, and as always, I'm the hostess with the mostest, Zach, with my brother Nate. It was awesome, don't even fucking start.
So, are you the host with the most, Zach? Or you...
Zach.
So what do you What do you have the most of?
I'm just the host with the most, my man.
All right, okay.
What do you need? I got it.
If you've joined us before, thank you for coming back. If you've not been here, we are a full spoiler reread.
You need spoilers? I got them.
Of A Song of Ice and Fire.
I'm fucking his cadence all out.
Not.
If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. We have missed you all. So it's been a rocky little bit. So like we finally.
Apparently, it wasn't good enough when I said those same things just now.
Yeah, it's never good enough.
I hate you.
You should know that you're never good. Ooh, that's not good to tell people.
That's
Zach is naughty at the top of the episode. He's my brother. I can do it. Thanks for coming back, everybody. We, as adults with full lives now, are still working on squeezing out our schedule, so we apologize on any delays for this episode, but here we are. We're ready to rock some stuff out, and
we're excited about it.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of house cleaning that we can take care of.
Lots of stuff on the horizon. You can still keep a lookout, keep an eye out for our Patreon, if you've joined our Patreon before. Our Patreon episode that will be coming out, a new one, which is basically our kind of thoughts on everything. Ooh, I hit my notebook. Here we go.
We're on it now.
This is the top of our thoughts on the state of things, the shows that are being made in development and about to be on our little screensy dudes here in a couple days, couple weeks.
Not far off.
Not far. So if you want to hear our thoughts on that, you can always join our Patreon.
Right. Trailers, that kind of stuff. And then our Patreon is patreon.com/withoutmanners, so check it out, and then you'll see new episodes regularly coming there.
Speaking of Patreon, we do want to give a big shout out, big thank you, hey, we appreciate the shit out of you to Agnes. We see you, Agnes. Thank you for joining our Patreon, becoming a member. We hope you enjoy the Winds of Winter sample chapters that are up, and what a great time to join, because we plan on fucking shit up with content.
So much content coming your way.
It's a good time to jump on. We appreciate any of the help we can get, and thank you, Agnes.
Thanks so much.
We see you. Anyway, we do also have some other emails, different things. There's lots to cover here that we wanted to get through. So we have been, we see you all, we see you. And so Kristen had an interesting question for us that we wanted to go over here at the top, which is, George has recently said in his not a blog post that he doesn't plan to introduce any new POVs in the remainder of the series. If he changed his mind, who would you like to see and who would you not like to see? Answers? Now?
Don't
this second?
Holy shit, man. There's a lot of people that I could enjoy seeing a point of view from, but I don't feel like any of them would necessarily serve any kind of purpose. Mm-hmm. It's more for personal gain. I like this guy and want to see what he's doing and shit. The big ones that, pop into my mind that I similar to how Kristen had answered, the reason I wouldn't want them is they know too much, and I feel like that takes away from a lot of the story that we enjoy. And so Varys and Littlefinger, as much as I pine for their information and every little detail, that I'm looking forward to receiving organically, so I don't think it'd be one of them. As far as people I'd like, that one's tough. Maybe Mance, a little bit of Mance,
Well, Mance could be an interesting
would be
POV.
kind of neat, just because there's so many different things in his life, I imagine, that you could, get a flashback or a memory or, and just to get some insight onto who that man is or was or why he acts the way he does. But so maybe Mance, if, assuming he's alive.
Sure. For me, I think I would... See, I'm going to catch a lot of shit.
Holy shit, hurry up.
I know. I'm going to catch a lot of shit for this, I think. I'd love to see a POV from Stannis the Manus, because I mean, again, everyone seems to think that he's gonna, like, burn his daughter or something like that. And so, like, I guess if that's probably gonna happen, like, it'd be much more interesting to read it from him, like, himself, and, like, that'd be dope to watch a crumble of a man from within. But Stannis toes the line of being one of those overly dangerous ones, too. Do not want a POV from Howland Reed. 100%. Howland Reed, he needs to feed me like the baby bird I am and just tell me a story, Grandpa. Like,
it's similar to that Varys and Littlefinger thing, I think.
Right.
He has information that we don't. It's too much right now.
I want him to strum a fucking harp and sing me a song and tell me the tale of the wolf.
I want him to float in on a fucking
He's gonna
turtle.
Peter Pan. He's like, I chased my shadow in here. Sorry. And it's like, oh, Howland, it's okay.
It's all right. You're playing
shadow.
the harp. It's great.
But Kristen, we wanted to hit you here at the top of the show. We
Thank
always
you. Great question.
Right, questions posed right to us. We also have
a bunch of late.
We wanted to shout out Lady Stephanie's latest comment on YouTube on Arya 9, and just her general thoughts. As always, we appreciate the discussion.
She keeps us straight.
Yeah, and the discussion. She keeps the discussion going and lively over there, and we appreciate you. We see you, and we read every single one of these comments that you leave. And so don't think they're just going unseen.
And so this one is about our last episode, which was the Arya 9, A Knight's IOU.
Yeah.
Where Arya's crossing a river with our buddy Sandor. Not just any river. The big one. Sorry, go ahead and read some stuff.
You're good. I don't have her email.
Oh, you don't have it up. So she likes the Arya chapters well enough, but she was talking about the lead up to it with rereading the Red Wedding, and does mention this is jumping up ahead, but I really don't think you are jumping ahead. They're these next 6 chapters for Arya and Kat. Not that Kat has that many.
It's one of my favorite things. A lot of our listeners are like, "Oh man, we're outpacing you," and it's like, guys, hey, we've read these before. You're okay.
You're good.
You're
good.
at your own
sorry,
pace.
We're going a little slow.
Right, things have got interrupted because life, pandemic, but we appreciate you guys letting us know where you're at. But by all means, outpace us and then come back and read it a third or fourth or fifth time because it's just as good. But continue.
Yeah, so she just mentions the handling of Lady Catelyn Stark's body within this same river is what actually leads to Beric being able to bring Lady Stoneheart into existence to terrify the hearts and souls of men and children alike. Mm-hmm. I'm one of those men and those children.
Yeah, it's one of those, did the Hound act of his own accord, or was him slowing down Thoros and Beric actually serendipitous in bringing Stoneheart back to life? Ooh.
Sure.
But thank you, Lady Stephanie. We also wanted to quickly address a inductee we also got from Karen.
Wonderful Karen.
For Sam, where she said a short chapter, but still a good one. Her inductee was the one who was listening, my boy Bloodraven, who might be my favorite A Song of Ice and Fire character ever. His ravens came to help Sam and Gilly and the baby. Also, I think we have room by the fire for cold hands as well. Thank you, Karen.
We can save room since he doesn't have hands to worry about.
I need to hold my thoughts on Bloodraven, because I won't shut the fuck up, and we don't have time. We have stuff to do.
And we just definitely appreciate, yes, great fucking inductee. We'll definitely dive head first into some Bloodraven, especially coming up soon with the Samwell and Bran chapters that we'll be encountering.
Right.
And so there'll be better times for heavy Bloodraven talk. But for now, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. We also have one last email of note we wanted to address, which was Chase writing in for Arya 9.
Chase, man.
And yeah. Chase, buddy, it's okay. You're okay. We're here for you. We'll always be back, no matter what. The next episode's coming out, so you don't have to worry. You have lots of great thoughts here, and your rambling is A-okay, because we do read it all, even if we don't read it all out on the episode.
So, I don't know if it's this email that he mentions it, so I'm going to interject here real quick, and just similar to what you had said before, that if you're reading and you've surpassed where we are, I do know that I personally do like reading or listening to podcast episodes, or like right now you're listening to the Roy Dotrice version of
the audiobook.
The audiobook. And like hearing these past episodes on chapters that you're far behind now.
Right, you could kick up, stir up something.
Will all of a sudden spark those while you're reading a current chapter in your spot. You'll be like, holy shit, like, that's how we found this stuff. Listening to, our favorite podcasts that, are in the fandom about this kind of stuff. So don't even worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
I do, just in Chase's email here, want to point out that he makes a note about the parallels between the Hound and the Kingslayer. It takes both of them getting away from King's Landing and the Lannisters to better themselves. And the more time they spend away from that place and those people, the further they get away from those personas. Jaime's fighting against the Kingslayer reputation, Sandor against the Hound, and both of them had their lives taken from them at a young age and were manipulated into becoming something they never wanted to be. Jaime tricked into a Kingsguard, essentially making him a prisoner of Aerys, and Sandor into being a monster by his brother's cruel actions. They're both products of the environment, fighting to be who they once were. His inductee for this is the second poleman on the two-headed water horse. He saved Arya and Sandor from becoming fish food, as well as all the others on board. The pole can come too. The Brotherhood could use a good sailor with his pole to navigate the rough red waters ahead. Hope all is well in Callie, and he'll be getting his inductees in as soon as possible. Valar Polharis.
Yes! It's such a good one. I'm so happy
Thank
for
you,
that.
Chase. And great inductee. I love the Jaime. That chapter is, it could be a two-parter. It's so juicy.
Yeah, there's so many different analogies.
That's a great catch of
Sandor.
and both of them, the more miles they physically put between this place, they can kind of shed this skin. And we learned that, the Salt Pans kind of has an interesting sort of geographic hold over the Hound persona like that later in the book as well. And so I think it's just interesting that you called that out, and that's
really
a great point. But thank you all. We love you all. We appreciate you all writing in. And if you want to write into us, you can always do so without manners, brotherhood@gmail.com, or hit us up on any of the socials, Twitter.
Yeah. Go to our website, Brotherhood Without Manners, brotherhoodwithout.com, and then just pick on whichever one works best for you.
Now,
yes.
Last episode, we were reading Arya 9.
As we've discussed now at this point.
Arya and Sandor crossing the Trident, which Arya thought at first was the Blackwater, as the Hound is taking her to the twins.
Right.
For her uncle's bloody wedding, as he calls it so cheekily at the end. We learn the travel has been rough. Arya's been trying to kill him, and then they come to a sort of grudging agreement. And there's lessons learned, growth. Sandor's becoming a real man, a real boy. But we're reading Jon.
Not Arya.
Jon.
Lovely. Which as always, we try to draw attention to which chapter comes before and after which, and so these two pairing together is just fun. Always, just because I love them together, and this is the closest we can get to them being together in any way is their chapters coming consecutively. George, throw me a fucking bone.
Who follows who, and who's being true, and who don't have their head anymore.
Good one,
you know.
So last we left Jon. He was crossing the wall.
He's a
climbing
filthy
the wall,
fucking wildling. Yeah, crossing
which
the wall.
Is Arya just crossed the river. He's crossing the wall. It's the frozen water, the frozen nightmare, and it's so. While hers felt like it was miles across because they traveled the length as they were trying to get across. They got dragged down the current. His is miles up, man. Or at least a mile. But it's high. It's really fucking... Did you guys know? Spoiler alert. The wall's fucking tall.
The wall is tall.
So he climbed the wall with the wildlings. They made their way down the other side and came upon a village outside the Queen's Crown. Queen's Crown!
Yeah, there was an old man, and there was kill him, don't kill him, what should we do, what should I do? And Jon was like, I can't, and Ygritte did. She cut the old man's throat, and then Jon was like, fuck, so he dipped.
But he was rescued by a wonderful wolf that he recognized, or thought he recognized. Did he recognize it? What does anybody know? Nothing if you're Jon Snow.
Bran's dead.
So yeah, he made his way to the wall, and that's where we pick up.
Well, he took off on a horse getting littered with some arrows by his one.
All right, I guess we didn't
love.
point out that Cupid got him.
Right, exactly. Cupid got him. The horse is exhausted. Jon is exhausted. I'm exhausted. But he's got to reach Castle Black before the Magnar. And that is what keeps him just pushing. He'd sleep in the saddle, but he don't have one. Which is just, why ruminate on it if you don't have one, Not helping things, Jon. Negative fucking visualization, my guy. His leg is more painful than ever, but he can't stop and rend it and let it mend, so he tears it open fresh, remounting again and again, which, like, hey, that sucks. That's...
As much as that sucks, I feel like that's my life growing up as a kid. Like, every time no arrows. Like, I'm not getting, out playing with bows and arrows, getting shot and fucked up that way.
I hope not.
But, like, riding my bike, scabs, like, just ripping scabs open constantly. I mean, it's like, yeah, that sucks, but, like, I need to ride my fucking bike right now. How can I not be playing right now?
Yeah,
so...
The further he gets from Egret, the more the wound tears open. It's all, bleeding hearts. I
get you. I got the...
Okay, cool. So he eventually, though, does reach the King's Road, and he's like, hey, Fonzie fucking elbow knocks a tree, and, like, the Game of Thrones theme starts, and he's like, I'm on my way now.
It's neat how quickly, reading this chapter, when he reached the King's Road, it was that instant, like, placement of his location now. It's like, all right, cool. Now we know where he's at. And then immediately after here, he's going to be hitting Molestown. We'll obviously get there in just a sec, but to finally be aware of, like, specifically where he was. I mean, I know I could look at the map and seen Queen's Crown on any map anywhere, but I feel safe on the King's Road for no reason in particular.
You shouldn't. There's not a Stark in Winterfell.
You got a point.
Yeah, you can't go unmolested down the King's Road.
He doesn't know that yet, and that's so sad.
He about to find out, but it's his northern star. It's his, this is the compass rose. This is the compass needle pointing north, and, like, hey, and it's literally that. He goes on autopilot. He's like, I just got to go north, and then I hit the wall, and hey, and he starts to think of wall. His friends, yeah. Drinking mulled wine by the fire with Hob at his kettles, Donnel Noye at his forge, and Aemon beneath the rookery. And then he's like, oh, yeah, but what about those motherfuckers north? Like the old bear, Sam, Gren, Ed, Dywind, And then he's like, shit, yeah, hope they made it out.
Cool. I'm sure they're fine.
The old gods are totally, like, chill with that shit.
Perfectly fine.
And, of course, hot and heavy on his mind is that cute little redhead that done pierced him with one of those love arrows. And then we get the angsty and just adorable Jon Snow moniker of, you were wrong to love her. You were wrong to leave her.
You were wrong to leave her. Yeah, he thinks of his father, Ned.
It's so gross to me. Like, he's like, oh, did father feel this way about my mother? No, he did not. He certainly didn't.
Not in that way.
Not in no romantic. I know, like, you were wrong to love her, you were wrong to leave her. It could be interpreted
I don't see any
way
ways for it to be interpreted as for him, like, applied there. Because, like, not to leave, like, you were wrong to leave her. Unless, like, Catelyn, I guess, in some way. But, like, yeah, I don't see it applying to Ned in any way.
Ned and Ashara Dane.
Right.
Yeah, right. No, not right.
Okay.
Yeah, he wonders if Ned felt the same, and he's like, oh, but Eddard was pledged to Lady Catelyn, and I, the Night's Watch,
made vows. They're shit. Shut up.
Everyone breaks that vow particularly.
Right, and it's funny because he now is going to stumble on the spot where they specifically go to break that vow.
Right, like he's literally about to ride through it thinking about this particular thing. And, I love this because he's so feverish, like it says, but, like, also, John, because you're thinking about the exact same thing. But most of the town is underground. The brothel is no bigger than a privy, and its red lantern was like a bloodshot eye peeking through the darkness. So, is this, like, great other imagery?
Well, I mean, the red eye is definitely part of the werewoods. Like, you can get that, right? You can get that kind of dark, scary look. But
this
also,
is fucking horrifying. This is weird scary. This is
one red eye blinking on you. Is it the John's stigmatizing the act of sexual content because of knowing this is where the Night's Watch come to break their vows? I broke that vow. No, this is a terrible, awful place. It's scary. Don't think of this.
Because the only other thing I could think of was the ruby at Melisandre's throat, which pretty soon Melisandre is going to, like, represent sexualization of power to Jon at the wall. And so it's sort of this weird, like, garnety drawing in, but almost it's hiding a town. It's like a glamour in itself.
It's much different than, for instance, like Chataya's place, where there's this power from her, and she's this. It's practically a privy, and Jon hasn't been inside. Maybe it's a manse down there underneath the ground.
Right, but it's a glamour. Like this whole little privy thing is just like that's the entranceway. It's not real, so the real town is beneath, and it's just like there's a real scary image from afar. There's this red eye peeking out in the darkness.
Right, as he passes through, almost.
Like missing. I mean, it's also Bloodraven could come to mind because you're right. The werewolves with their red eyes, but it's just like and
Ghost specifically.
Right, Ghost comes to mind. Yeah, it's icky. I don't like it.
So he does get some food, a little food and ale, and a new horse, which is good.
Yeah. He yells 2 stable boys awake, telling them that he needs some stuff, and then he tells them to wake and warn the village that there are wildlings south of the wall, and they're to make for Castle Black. And then he mounts right the fuck back up, and he's like, yo, bye, gotta go. And so, mulls town out.
Yeah, he finally stumbles his way to where he can, in the distance, see the wall. It sees it again.
Yeah, the stars are fading, which, I can't help. I just can't help it. Because, we're full spoiler, guys.
You're doing it again.
What?
You're going to bring it up, aren't you?
Quaithe?
All sorts of weird shit.
Yeah, I'm going Quaithe with the Starlight.
Okay.
Dance of Dragons, Quaithe is Starlight. Starlight. The stars are fading. I know. The stars are fading. The moonlight's pale on the ice, and Jon begins to push on. Like, there is a mystical quality. There's literally a large red eye that's, like, watching Johnny Boy Sna. But then there's also this weird ethereal quality of the wall. There's a lot of mystical imagery around Jon, and some of it ominous and not so like, hey, nice old gods that are looking out for our king in the north, our boy, our Johnny Snow. There's some big red, like, kind of peeking eye, like, hey, boy, you getting a boner? Because you probably shouldn't, because you feel weird about it.
And it's odd because we had the comet before that was very similar in its appearance.
Imagery.
Yeah.
Straight up the
bleeding hearts.
I mean, it's brutal, but a gash in the sky. And like that, some people roughly describe it as that, like a bleeding gash in the sky. And so it was very much so sexual imagery. And this is, again, that red, which Melisandre, again, will personify here in a bit when she gets up to the wall. So he pushes on until Castle Black begins to come into view, like so many broken toys beneath the great cliff of ice. And I quoted this line specifically because it says, by then, the wall glowed pink and purple with the first lights of dawn. And I just don't understand why there is such house Dane imagery here in this description of the wall.
Red herring?
With potentially, but the pink and purple and the first lights of dawn.
Yeah, dawn and
dawn
purple.
Being the sword, purple Ashara Dane, her eyes, and the pink doesn't really associate with anything.
The color Jon wants to dye his hair.
Sure, when Jon's feeling edgy, it's an interesting. Probably not. It's probably not any. George can just write colors and not have there be allusions to things, but it was just something I noticed.
Yeah, and there's definitely times I would imagine where even if he isn't meaning anything by it, his editors and his, proofreaders and all that aren't going to necessarily question that kind of stuff because who knows what he's plotting or planning with it. And so if it's nothing, then it's beautiful imagery of a wonderful sunset. But otherwise, there's now this little seed that's been planted that can just...
Well, right. I mean, it could be seen that the Danes are just another wall to the truth of Jon Snow's real heritage, like the Ashara smokescreen that people have put up. Don't fuck with me. I'll do it. I'll find it. Yeah, I'll find it, dude.
It's like, do you have that written on your notebook over here?
It's not there. No. Yeah, no, that's off the dome. We're firing this shit off.
Anyway, yes, that was a great quote, though. I did write that down.
Terrible. No one challenges his approach. No one sounds a horn and is like, hey, there's a dude coming. Nothing. Which, yay.
Which makes sense, unfortunately. Because, A, most of the forces went north. B, who the fuck is going to attack from the south? Who? Name 5 people. Don't anymore. No anymore.
Ramsay Bolton.
Yes,
Bruce Bolton.
I fucking hate
Stannis Baratheon, like in a insidious, fucked up way, and then like Joffrey Baratheon eventually when he like becomes a little fuck.
He's dead.
Well, he wouldn't maybe be if depending on how things go.
He's dead.
Oh, all right.
Joffrey's a no.
So Joffrey's a no. Then Cersei when she takes the city.
All right. God damn it. Fine.
Fuck off. So
he goes straight.
He's like, look, he has some flashback. He's like, oh, look, there's the commander's tower where I started a big fire and like we had to move out. That sucked.
I'm moving in again, bitches.
And
no,
then
not there.
he notes that Mormont's new tower, the King's Tower, lol. You name them king is to name them king is to kill them. Is empty. It's dark. Then they didn't leave the light on for Mormont, and that's why he didn't return. So. And he noticed, however, that there is smoke rising from the armory chimney. And, like,
my boy,
it's like the 90s Christmas movie, the cheesy, like, the dad pulls up in the taxi and he's like, oh, no one's home. But then he sees, like, the light on in the bedroom and he's like, oh,
it's my friend.
Yeah. And he sees Noye, Donnel Noye.
Sir Donnel Noye.
Fucking pounding it out, yo. And Noye notices him, and despite all that Jon's been through, he smiles.
It's a fucking ghost. Look at this motherfucker.
It's good to see Noye. And yeah, Noye's like, yo, look at you. We heard you went dark side, bitch. Shut up. And he says that it was Jarman Buckwell who'd returned a fortnight pass and said that he saw Jon walking and riding alongside the column in wearing a sheepskin. Traded in that black cloak, did you, boy? Which
he still is currently wearing. So he's like, I see that part's at least true. And he's like,
it's all true.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yep, I did it all. I even fucked a girl.
Yo, I killed Corin half-hand.
It was dope.
It was sweet. And he's like, so should I be?
There's a blade literally above you. Could you hand me that? Because I could take it down and should I take it down and kill you?
No, dude. Corin told me to do it. Jon, baby bird, listen. I know you know nothing.
You want to lead with that.
That's the thought set.
I was on orders from Corin Halfhand to learn what I could about what they were doing, and I have lots of information. And Jon's like, hey, where's the garrison, though? Like, where's everybody at?
Is everybody sleeping? Is it late?
And he's like, they were all spread out. Harmon's dog's head was seen at fucking Woods Watch by the pool, Rattleshirt at Long Barrow, the Weeper near Ice Mark. They're climbing near Queen's Gate. They're hacking the gates of Greyguard. They're massing against Eastwatch. And Jon's like, motherfucker, they're intentionally spreading you thin. And says that the gate is here. The attack is here, you dense fences.
So I really like the idea that the whole wall itself is under siege right now, essentially. Even if it's a ploy, it's under siege.
Yeah, it's poking and prodding.
And then Bran's gonna just... with Sam, even. They're just going to come and sleep, and just both of them are just going to sneak on by, skirt on by through everything, and it's such perfect positioning for them to just slip on through everything.
It's perfect, because it's the advice Jon gives to Art, you poke them full of holes, it's just that, it's, you keep poking and prodding, you spread them out thin enough, it's great. Mance is no dummy.
It's such a neat convergence of so many point of views at this point right here. Even if it is spread along the wall and in different but this whole little centralized area, it's just a lot of fun to see all the workings happening. So
Noye notices the wound and notes it as a wildling arrow. And then he says that he's digging Jon to Aemon. We got to get you cleaned up. So he gives him an arm, and, well, he only has one. And Jon tells him that the wildlings are south of the wall. They're coming to open the gate. And
120 well-armed wildlings, and they're pretty well, like that steel and armors, weapons that'll fuck your shit up. And he says, what do I have here? 40s at the wall, led by Sir Winton.
Yeah, Jon asks how many remain here. 40-odd, the crippled, infirm, and green boys still in training. And Marsh had named Sir Winton Castellan, but he seems to have forgotten. So Noye is actually kind of interim manager right now. It's just for the temporary. And Jon's like, actually, that's for the best, because at least Noye will get some shit done. And it's the better choice in war, so that's cool. And then Noye's like, hey, where's your little wolf? Where's your wolf guy? And Jon's like, shit, I had hoped he'd be here, because I had to leave him south of the wall. And
haven't you seen him yet? Come on. No ghost. No ghost.
No ghosty. Ghosty's ghosty. He's ghosting.
Yeah, so they do arrive, and little Clytus is going to try to help Jon for a second before actually going and getting the real maester and man of the hour.
Ugh. The room is just warm and stuffy, and Jon immediately gets sleepy, which, like, I don't know if you ever had an infection or been real, real sick. Not you, but listeners. I know your medical history to a disgusting degree. But that fucking feverish, just like, I'm in and out of it, but I'm hot, I'm cold. And then you enter a room that's stuffy and, like, overly warm, and it's that skin prickly, but you're so sore that, like, just lay me down and give me something for the pain and let me die. It's, like, I just can feel this chapter. Sure. But Noye eases Jon down, and Jon has to close his eyes to stop the world from spinning. And then he hears the ravens above. Snow! Snow! And he's like, fucking Sam.
You son of a
Sam! And he wonders, did Sam make it back or just the birdies?
Sam did not make it back.
The burbs? Not yet. And then Aemon shuffles in, and he's like, yo, what up, playa? You gotta tell me everything. Once you're good.
He's a fuckboy all of a sudden.
Once you're good. Like, you're good.
It's cool. I got you fixed up with this take a little shot of this.
And yeah, Aemon starts prepping for surgery. He's like, a little dab of the alcohol on the hands, clean that shit up. Boil some wine, heat some iron, sharpen those fucking knives. Let's do this shit.
And he sniffs, gets an idea that this is some gross shit he's dealing with.
Yeah, Clytus cuts Jon's pants off, hot, and then Jon is telling Aemon that the wildlings are coming, and he climbed the wall, and Aemon's, sniffing bandages and trying to figure out infection and what happened. And he's like, we climbed the wall? And Jon's like, oh yeah, well, it was Corrin's orders, and, this and that, and Aemon begins poking and prodding the wound, like, because he's blind, and has to, like, awful. Fuck. It would suck.
So, that's why Jon just blurbs out with everything, is because he probably just assumes that Aemon can smell the virginity has left him.
Well,
so he's like, oh, you slept with a... Yep,
he smells
gotcha.
Sex. hot sex.
He smells it.
And Aemon knows it. And Jon's like, hey... Where's the old bear? Like, can I see him? Can he see my dad?
Nope.
And Aemon's like, oh, Jon, he was murdered. At
No, it's okay. By his own man.
By his own brother. That's not the worst of it, though. Ned Stark broke his leg like 6 months ago, dude. It was a fucking year. I don't know.
How long ago was that?
A while, dude. We're on an adventure. Jon is in disbelief. He's like, yo, father broke his leg? Like, who was it?
Holy shit.
Who was it that killed Mormont? And we get the list of Garth of Old Town. All of Lophand, Dirk, thieves, cowards, and killers. The lot. The watch is not what it used to be.
There's also 4 or 5 more, if you didn't mention that.
Too few honest men to keep the rogues in line.
Is he Slughorn now? Aemon?
12 true men made it back. Ed, Giant, your friend, the Aurochs, which, like, come on, Aemon. Like,
the big one!
He has a name, Gren. It's not that hard.
Yeah, similar. Again, I was called the big one at a point in our lives. Like, so Aurochs is perfectly fine as a nickname.
That's 12. Fine. Jon's like a dozen? A baker's dozen?
Yeah, like 12. So 13.
There were 200 that dipped out. 12 came back. Cool.
What about Sam? I said a dozen.
Fuck Sam.
And like,
yeah.
No.
Jon's like, is Bowen Marsler come in now then? Fuck, that sucks. And Aemon's like, yeah, he is. Till there's a choosing. Dropping
that out early here. Just a little bit of a...
And Jon's like, who the fuck is left to choose? Like, there's Thorin Smallwood, but did he even survive? Or Aunt Withers? No. Cotter Pike or Dennis Mallister, both good men, but different, and they hate each other, and that's why Morin kept them apart at opposite ends of the walls, and, the fucking Mallisters just hate the Ironborn anyway, so, like, what the fuck is
and he's just fever spewing.
And it's also like, hey, Jon, this is why, like, you are being groomed to command, because you understand these things. You understand that the Mallisters have a deep-seated hatred of the Ironborn, and why. And that's a good thing for a commander to know. Hey, you're doing it. But the pain brings his mind back as Aemon's like, does this hurt?
Hey,
and pokes it.
Pa.
But he's getting milk with the pot, you know, like he's getting the good shit. So Jon he's like, no, I can't. And they're like, you're gonna. Cause
all right,
shut the fuck up.
You need to start sending some messages. We need to get the kings involved. So start sending letters south to Winterfell, to King's Landing.
Yeah, I like the little miscommunication because Jon's like, yeah, the Magnar's men are here. And he's trying to keep his mind off of the surgery that is now occurring to his leg. Gross. And Noye's like, the Magnar, like, that's a title, brah. What the fuck? And Aemon's like, dude, it's good. Like, the wildlings use it as, like, a title, too. Like, don't worry about it.
They don't know nothing.
And then, like, because Noye is like, Skagos, which, like, you know, Magnar Rickon. I'm just throwing it out there. Don't look at me. Don't at me.
Rickon of Then?
Like,
shit.
No, because Then is the place. He's Magnar Rickon
of
Skagos. I'll fucking punch you in the throat.
Wow. He's getting angry everywhere.
Styr is Magnar of some place called Then.
Yeah.
Up near the Frostfangs.
Magnar.
But Jon's like, but Mance didn't get the horn, so there's that. But by the way, I believe in magic now.
Horn? Wait, horn? Yeah, the Horn of Winter. Wait, he thinks that's real? Hold up.
Yeah, I like Aemon being like, wait a minute. Mance Raider.
So yeah, let's take just a quick moment, because we haven't put too much talk into that, and if we did, it was a long-ass time ago. Mance was once a Night's Watchman.
Yeah.
And so he spent time with Aemon. Aemon and him have probably enjoyed long talks similar to what Jon is doing right now, and that's exactly where Zach was going with that, and I'm stealing his idea before he can say it. Mance fucking Raider thinks that he can find this thing? For what reason?
He had dragon dreams.
What does that mean, dude? I mean, Mance Raider. This is why I want a point of view chapter from this motherfucker.
Is Mance Raider a puppet, or is he acting of his own volition?
Or is he Rhaegar Targaryen?
I'm asking you. Is he a puppet, or is he acting of his own volition?
I want to think that he's acting of his own volition.
Is he an instrument, a Bloodraven, the Great Other, or some other, you know, or is he like Mancing because he's Mance?
If he
and
is,
wants to
I
Mance
think
all
he's
over this place.
more in the fields of. No, I don't think he's not knowingly. I don't think he's a puppet. I think that he's acting in the best interest of mankind and his people that he's been with, and the things that he enjoys about the free folk and the wildlings as a whole.
So is this his Rhaegar prophecy moment, the moment where he hears something mystical and it's about to bite his cock off? Because this is the one for him. This is the legend that's going to bite his cock off.
Right. If he's not Rhaegar, who's already had that, then yes, that's exactly what I think
Rhaegar.
that is.
Hi, Lami. There's a cat in the studio, folks. So, like, everything could just go to hell.
He was
right
just checking
now.
things out. Right. He's already left. He was like,
gone.
I've got nothing to add to this conversation. The boys have got it, and so.
So yeah, Aemon's like, which again, important that Aemon is questioning this, because clearly that means he's viewing Mance Raider as someone who's logical and doesn't seem to believe in these higher mysteries, as they're called in this world. But Jon's like, yeah, they all do. Ygritte says, like, they open hundreds of fucking crypts and, like, let all the shades out, and it's real scary, like, and then Noye is like, yo, who the bitch? Who's Ygritte? What's that, Jon?
What of it?
And Jon word vomits and, like, just has a whole-ass existential crisis. Describes her as a young, wild girl, and, like...
It's so... I don't know what the word is, because, like, I don't want to say adorable or funny or... It's something, the way that Jon doesn't understand that whole... I mean, I guess it's that pure belief in honor itself above all else. The fact that every one of them are like, all right, dude, like, you slept with someone. Like, you fucking killed Corin Halfhand, brah. Like, we're not too concerned that you slept with somebody.
Like, on the totem pole of things that you get in trouble for, Corin's death is more important.
We're not too terribly
I mean, it's indoctrination, my man. Like, that's a hell of a thing when you're told. Like, and that's all this is. And it's even, like, to the point where he's describing her as a young, wild girl. Why? Because she has agency? Because she's fucking makes her own choices? That's considered a wild... There's even a... There's a fucking privilege that Jon's coming from here, where it's even that sort of colonial bullshit of the young wild girl out there that I'm gonna tame her, and it's that no, Ygritte just lives and has to live savagely because of the land that they're on. But like,
and even that, it's right. It's her culture's different than yours.
Right,
Fuck
it's
you,
not,
accept
right.
it.
It's
not
not. She's
you have
a
to
wild. She's
conform
this
her to
crazy
yours.
hot wild girl over the wall. It's she's a girl that I fell in love with over the wall. You would call her a wildling. I would call her a free folk, or I'd probably just call her Ygritte, because like
I just call her Ygritte.
And like no, instead he's got to be that conditioned north of the Wallian, and he confesses to breaking his vows with her, and his head is swimming due to the milk of the poppy, and Aemon asks for the blade and tells Noye that he's got to hold him down, and Jon, similar to thanks Chase, you pointed out the Hound in Jaime. Jon says he will not scream. And Jaime Lannister said the same thing about his hand, but he breaks that vow as well, which is beautiful wording. I'm a burp.
Gross. You're a fucking disgusting person, just like Theon Greyjoy.
Wow.
Yes.
Clytus helps guide Aemon through the surgery, which I just, I imagine is like extra scary, like just
having somebody else guiding someone to the surgery. Like, yeah, it's pretty awful for Jon in general, the whole thing.
Right,
I almost feel like I'd prefer just Aemon going in.
Right,
then it's
Clytus, get your stupid, get out of here.
Aemon has the confidence to be doing
let
this.
Let Aemon do it. But...
And so, sure, whatever works. I'm cringing, so can we get the fuck past this part?
So Jon screams and pounds the table, and eventually he faints from the pain.
I fainted reading this part from the pain.
And then he wakes... And he sleeps, and he wakes, and he sleeps, and he dreams that Ygritte is tending him with gentle hands. It's nice. It's very nice. His next waking is not so gentle, with throbbing pain that makes him want to fucking scream. And then a candle flares, and hey, it's his friends Pip and Gren. They're here, everybody. They're like, what up? We've been here for a bit. And Gren's like, here, Jon, drink some fucking water, because you probably got cotton mouth like a motherfucker. And like, if you've ever had a medical procedure done, he does. And Jon was like, I saw the fist. Like, holy shit, what happened? Tell me everything. And they're like, yeah.
We got fisted.
Oh, God.
That's what they said.
So, they get, he asks who made it back, and he gets the list of Dywyn, Giant, Ed, Sweet Donald, Hill, and Ulmer. Left Hand Lou, Garth, Greyfeather, plus 4 or 5 more. And Jon asks Sam. And Gren, poor Gren, man, because he, has to, feels like he's got to explain and just, he's like,
Sam the Slayer.
You killed another, Jon. That was crazy with the dragonglass dagger that you gave us. We called him Sam the Slayer.
Oh, Sam fucking loves that, I'm sure.
Yeah, Jon's like, oh, shit. What happened to him, though? And Gren's like, we had to leave him, Jon. We left him. We had to. We shook him. We slapped him. We yelled at him. But, it was, craziness, and we were at Craster's, and the mutineers were tearing the place apart and raping people and eating food and shit, and Ed was like, yo, they're gonna kill the loyal ones to keep us from telling, so we've gotta fucking leave Sam with the old bear. And we did. He just wouldn't move, Jon.
We couldn't do anything. We couldn't.
And Jon thinks, you were his brother. How could you leave him among murderers and wildlings? Which, you were wrong to love her. You were wrong to leave her. Is an interesting moniker that's been coming up, and it's literally, he's asking that of them. How could you love him? How could you leave him?
Right.
You left him there to die.
But claimed he was your brother.
But claimed he was your brother, right. And Pip and Gren are trying to be cheerful about Sam. Maybe he made it out. He killed another. He's pretty badass, and Jon tries to sit up because he's Jon Snow, and of course he does, and that's a mistake because of course it is. And then Pip's like, yo, Gren, go get Aemon. And Jon's like, no, we're not. The Magnar's coming, and we gotta be prepared. We're men, we're manly men, and I'll just walk on a leg that can't support me now. And Pip's like, yo, Noye has men watching the south. We're good. Fine, because that wasn't happening before.
Everything that can happen at the moment is currently
Birds
happening.
are out to Eastwatch, Shadow Tower, that's it.
But what about Winterfell? Oh no, baby!
And Aemon walked up. He's like, "Yo, what up, playa? I heard you were calling for me. My pager went off." And Jon's like, "Yo, what the fuck? We can't rest the wildlings. Mance, has Winterfell been told? Has the king? What the fuck?
There's nobody to tell at Winterfell. Your brothers are banned and they've gone to hell. Sorry, I carried on a little more than I should have.
Much more has happened since you've been gone. Balin has named himself king, and we've sent appeals to each of these 5 kings, yet none respond. And Winterfell, Jon, be strong. Winterfell is no more. And Jon's like, Brandon and Rickon were at Winterfell, foo. And Aemon's like, yeah, they dead, bitch. They were killed.
Yeah, but did you hear about my father's leg, Aemon?
They were killed by Theon Greyjoy, who took the castle in the name of his father.
I do appreciate how confused even Jon is by that. Wait a minute.
He was a dick.
Right.
But he was father's ward.
No way he fucking killed them. That's crazy. And, obviously I hate Theon with every fight. There's no redemption. Nothing. He can't be fucking...
Right. Oh, yeah.
But it's just one of those inklings of that layering that shit throughout all the books to make us fucking empathize with him later on.
Yeah, I like the little bit here that we get, because this is what sort of confirms that there's some fishy business going on with not that there hasn't been confirmation already, but it says, when your father's bannermen threatened to retake Winterfell, he put the castle to the torch. And like that right there, we were in Theon's head when that was happening. Theon was ready to fight to the last. Like, he was ready to die for that excursion, and that's not what happened. Like, he wasn't burning Winterfell to spite Roderick and them. He died because everyone not died, but got taken prisoner because
got knocked the fuck out.
Because Reek turned on him, and then Gran is like, "Oh, it's all right though, cause like it's avenged, cause it said Bolton's bastards flaying him inch by inch."
Right.
Which there's the fun little setup for.
Yeah, and so this is also where Jon is confused as fuck because he swears he saw a Grey Wind, summer, and man.
It knew me.
He was...
It knew me. And then he's like, wait, but if Bran's dead, like, could he live on in his wolf like Orell did the eagle?
Foreshadowing!
Second life. Gran gets Jon to drink some more milk of the poppy, which gets his head spinning. And he thinks of Winterfell with its, different crenulations and crypts. And he thinks, specifically the line of oak and iron, which, again, is a Dunk and Egg reference of
sure.
Oak and iron guard me well, lest my soul be sent to hell. And so
Sentinel.
Sent to hell.
I was just because we always talk about the sentinel trees.
Right. And so it's just an interesting one that Jon's pointing out here. But dreams take him. Dreams! And he's at Winterfell. Hey, that place.
Can I point out, I constantly fucking yell at Zach for using dreams in our D&D games. They drive me crazy. They're so easy to misinterpret into everything, and you writers just love them. They're great storytelling devices. God damn it.
I apologize. While Nate was bitching, I was slurping my straw, so if you heard that, my bad. Anyway, us discussioners will continue over here.
Thank you.
Oh, no, you weren't included in that.
Oof.
He's in the hot pools beneath a huge weirwood with his father's face. Nightmare fuel. Nightmare fuel. Like a big Eddard Stark being like, Jon, don't put your penis in her.
I'm the tree.
I'm the tree, Jon. Look at me. The man who passes the sentence.
And it's much more like the Wizard of Oz type tree, like where they're like, he's throwing fucking apples. Jon.
Right, like he won't let them be.
Jon.
Are you going to pierce her with your
3
sword,
inches
Jon?
apart. 3 inches.
Yeah, and then, of course, there's Ygritte, who's, like, doing the little striptease and laughing and blowing him kisses and trying to kiss him, and he's like, not in front of my dad,
my
babe.
Dad's
like,
right there. He's watching us.
And he's like, no, I can't father a bastard, especially not in front of my dad. Like, I'm not into that kink. And she's like, you know nothing, Jon Snow. And then her skin dissolves into gross.
Yeah, man, that's, yay, melting skin.
Sloughs off her bones, and the hot pool bubbles dark and red.
So, where do we want to go? What direction here with her?
Sexual repression, the fear of the future, the fear of the bastardy and his lineage. I thought Taster's choice.
So, going far off, probably reaching hard as far as hell.
Oh, something's reaching hard.
is this potentially a way of showing that she's not for him because she's melting and there's, fire can't hurt the dragon and he needs to be with the dragon and he can't be with her regardless of her being
a little bit
fire.
of a kill the boy situation?
Yeah, sure. Like, she's not right.
She'll get in the way for his Targaryen lineage and what he needs to do. Maybe. Could be. Absolutely.
Similarly, it's partially if not Targaryen lineage, granted, I guess it falls into that as well. Mel's coming up to the wall here soon, and we know she's got that bad boy, the Fire Lord, backing her in all she does. So his coming to life in the fire and the Lord of Light and that life-bringing capability, fire not being able to hurt the dragon, all of that coupled into this, the love of the woman he thinks he...
Sure,
the woman he does love.
It's his first love. There's no question of it.
She's melting before him. She can't stand the heat. She can't
get out of the kitchen. Hey, bitch.
And so I think it's a very open for interpretation, of course, a dream where his
my only other thought is that, like, to me, this is the other eye
of the
the
brothel,
the brothel,
and
sure. Like it's a blood red pool that, like, to me it's the presence still watching, still influencing, and still putting Jon on a path of which is you need to start letting Ygritte go and accepting that she's dead to you. You will never, and it's been kind of consistent. You will never frolic at Winterfell with Ygritte. That is. A pipe dream.
And as...
it's similar to Bran.
So
like,
here's
put that
my
away,
issue.
you don't need that now.
As the Girls Gone Canon mention it, how can they have a sequel spin-off show because clearly the base material, the shows that inspire, I think is how the girls put it, the show that inspired these books have a spin-off Jon Snow thing, and so how can he live happily ever after if his one and only doesn't make it? And so that's what would confuse me there. You know what I'm saying? I do like the idea that there's only the one, similar like you said with the eye. We had the one eye before. It's almost like the third eye is the red eye, the one individual. And so here again, we only have the one eye.
Almost like Euron's smiling eye?
That red eye opening again.
Even though Euron's is said to be blue.
As a sacrifice occurs, the red eye opens. And so, yeah, I definitely see what you could be saying.
It could be as simple, like, because, I could be going grander, maybe not the Great Other. It could just be Bloodraven, even. Like, hey.
Sure, just checking in on the dreams
and,
here.
And, it's not missed for some fucking reason here. It's a terrifying red eye. I don't know. But the imagery invoked seems to me that this pool is just a cool, steamy hot spring, and then all of a sudden it's crazy bloody red, and the only other stark red imagery we've gotten... Stark red. Stark.
Besides Ghost...
Ghost wasn't in this chapter.
And that's it.
He was mentioned,
and that's
missing.
Where
And that's why I'm questioning whether this is good, whether this is like the old gods that the blood of the first men that the Starks invoke. This feels malicious to me. This feels like Great Other, or if it's Bloodraven's being fucking scary.
Well, again, it definitely feels more sacrificial than it does anything else. And yeah, not a pleasant thing at all, but
so I guess fucking like we'll bubble toil and trouble our ass to the small council.
Yeah, that's the end of the chapter there. So we'll think about bloody pools of fucking goopy mess. It's bone soup, dude.
Hot tub.
Time machine. I will not scream, Jon told himself when he saw the blade glowing red-hot, but he broke that vow as well. Donnel Noye held him down, while Clytus helped guide the maester's hand. Jon did not move, except to pound his fist against the table again, and again, and again. The pain was so huge he felt small and weak and helpless inside it, a child whimpering in the dark. Ygritte, he thought, when the stench of burning flesh was in his nose and his own shriek echoing in his ears. Ygritte, I had to. For half a heartbeat, the agony started to ebb, but then the iron touched him once again, and he fainted.
counseling is in session now. We're not offering therapy.
Is that what it's called when the small council's in session? Is counseling? Are we not? I don't. Fuck. Yeah.
You are being counseled at this very moment.
Okay.
So, John 6?
Yes.
Got an inductee?
No. Prepared for this? Of
fucking-
course. Yes, I do.
Oh.
It is Donnel Noye. I think we brought him back way early on because he had some
Sure.
great talks about who Renly and
Baratheon
Stannis
boys.
are, which is fun that we're seeing. I mean, it's fun. Yeah, they're about to lose all sorts of people around them. It's a blast. Stannis is going to be coming up to the wall here very, very shortly. And Donnel Noye was talking about the rigidity of Stannis and who he is. And so John has firsthand knowledge of who these people he's interacting with are before interacting with almost all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just has this great positioning around him of these advisors that lead to him getting the Lord Commander position, not just because old Bear was, grooming him. But also the others, like Donnel Noye, who's one-armed, fucking sword-wielding, fucking metal-mashing badassery has led him to be running the Night's Watch right now, even if unofficially. He's got the fucking most wisdom and knowledge and authority at the moment, and so I want that kind of badassery keeping us company here in the Brotherhood.
Sure.
Donnel Noye.
Sure. He gonna be dead.
Is there anybody in the chapter besides... I was going to say besides Jon Snow.
Rats.
Is there anybody in this chapter that's still alive where we're at the moment? Ed, maybe?
Ed and Gren?
Ed and Gren, sure.
Pip?
Yeah, I mean, they die in the
I don't think Ed was
show,
in this.
but-
Pip and Gren.
Pipar.
Pipar.
Anyway.
My inductee.
Duck.
Oh, is going to the two boys, the stable boys that John woke up and sent to get him shit. Because one, they hooked it the fuck up, and two, neither of them are the dumb motherfucker who's gonna take a shot at Ygritte that the show made as a character that mattered or something. And so that's real cool. They're just two boys who got him a horse and stuff.
Good job, stable
Good
boys.
job,
We need
stable boys.
Or at least stable boys in Moletown or random villages that are going to allow us. So
And,
thanks, stable boys.
They're clearly, I don't know why I'm into shitting on the show this episode, but they've got the Gendry fucking sprinting strength, so they can get right up to Castle Black. So
Cool.
the two stable boys that John awakes because the British are coming, and that's an important role.
Yeah, right. Great cop-out answer. So Kristen
Bitch.
wrote in.
All right, Kristen.
And hers is going to be short, so don't worry. You can fucking chill. Because she knows her red wedding notes are going to be lengthy.
Nate's aren't. He can't string a thought together.
Holy fucking... Can I finish Kristen's?
Can
please?
you?
Will you allow me the
I
opportunity?
absolutely will. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Our poor Johnny boy is overwhelmingly consumed by grief and guilt here, even before receiving the news of Bran and Rickon's deaths and the betrayal of Theon. As much as she'd love to bring him into the Brotherhood so he can be among friends, she's inducting Gren for entertaining the idea that Sam may still be alive and making sure to tell Jon of Sam's great feat, because that's what homies do. She normally gravitates toward the dangerously smart, scheming characters, but Gren is such a cute little idiot. I want him in the Brotherhood. Kristen. I'm probably retweeting that. Gren is such a cute little idiot. I think that's my thought of the week.
You can't retweet it. It hasn't been tweet. You'd have to.
Did I say retweet?
Yeah.
I meant tweet. I just meant fucking holy shit.
I know how to Twitter.
Yeah, as long as
I don't use it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
sure.
Kristen.
We thank you so much for your awesome.
Yeah, right?
I'm good.
Okay.
Stop yelling at me.
I
He hates
can't.
on everything I do. It's ridiculous.
You
Kristen, you are wonderful. You give us great thoughts. And Zach's an awful person.
Hey.
If you would like to write in like our wonderful Kristen, everybody else before the episode at the start, Chase and Stephanie, there's plenty of ways you can do so. Are you?
Yeah,
you
you're
seem
good.
so mad
No.
at me. I don't know anymore. You're just so against
Oh.
approving anything I do. It's hard to know if I can continue.
Oof.
So as we mentioned, we will be flooding Patreon content out. When I say flooding,
I flood
we'll
my
be
basement. Sorry. You shut the fuck up.
we'll be putting
You
out
ask me
regular.
to talk, and then I talk, and then you yell at me.
We will be putting out regular episodes here. The Dunk and Egg series. We've got the state of the The stuff that's, just everything, all sorts of goodness.
Yeah, we might be, calling that, an unplugged series. We're kind of working that, where it's just kind of a more relaxed, generalized conversation about things we're doing, things we want to do.
Sure.
Ideas.
So you can check that out, patreon.com/withoutmanners. You can send us an email. Email us at withoutmannersbrotherhood@gmail.com. We have a Facebook group. You get private access to the private Facebook group through Patreon as well, but just the general Facebook can be found searching Brotherhood Podcast over there, facebook.com/Brotherhood Podcast. Zach's on Twitter. Like he said, he sucks at tweeting. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing over there, but at Carstark92. Nate is on Twitter at MannersWithout. And give us a rate and review wherever you find us, because those really do help us get found by other listeners. We appreciate them. We're basically on every podcast platform you can find. Odyssey, Audacity, I think, is probably one. Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcasts,
Nate has
Stitcher,
a lot of Audacity.
Podbeam. That's true.
He mopes when people don't review us, so review us, so that way he stops moping.
And then check out our episodes where we're guesting. We're doing...
What?
I'll be making that great appearance here soon.
What?
I think we announced that last episode, right? And so...
What?
Not that it hasn't been public knowledge from the girls themselves, but I'll be joining them for some fun over on the Girls Gone Canon podcast.
What?
So we'll be doing that. We'll be putting out... Who's next? I just closed my notebook.
Oh,
Zach, where's yours is closed too. Fuck off.
Catelyn 6.
And holy fucking shit. We're going, guys. We're there. It's there. It's happening. We're going through the hard times.
Yeah, it's going to get awfully red up in here. This is the end.
It's a bloody mess.
The Starks are dying. And we're going to be reading about it and being sad. We'll be getting on a more fixed schedule here soon, so just stick with us while we iron out the fucking kinks in this bitch.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Valor to Harris!